Well, we got a good-looking week of weather ahead, so I think it's safe to say that we can be changing our tires without any snow in the forecast. Here's hoping. And what if I said somebody could come to you and not only change your tires, but any type of mechanical services? I don't know if that's the proper term, but I bet you Colton knows the proper terms when it comes to that, because it's GoWrench, and this is your mobile mechanic business. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Well, how many times do you get, I didn't know there was a mobile mechanic?
Every day. Every day.
Right? Okay, so how did it all get going, and how did it all start?
So it started just over 7 years ago. My partner was my friend at the time. We met for coffee, and we were just kind of going over some interesting ideas. And he had an issue with his previous business, where the mechanic wouldn't come to him, and he was running 7 to 8 trucks, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And he said, the mechanic said to him, "I don't do house calls, buddy." And right there, that sparked the light bulb, and he dropped everything, I dropped everything, and it just started.
Because, you know, why can't mechanics? What can't you do in somebody's driveway?
There's 85 to 90% of the stuff that can be done in a shop can be done on the road to some point. There is a few larger things that can't be done and would have to be brought into a shop still. But the majority of it still can be done on the road.
So what happens if it does need to be run to a shop?
If it does need to run to the shop, we do have physical locations and dealers, so that we would actually valet it or tow it to one of our locations if it couldn't be done.
Okay, so we got Andy, one of your mechanics, doing this is just a tire change, because this time of the year, this is what the majority of it is.
Yeah,
I assume, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, but you got your truck here too. Like everything you need is in the van as far as rotating tires and stuff.
Yeah, so we have a few different trucks on the road. So this is specifically our tire service truck. So anything that can be done in a tire shop in Southern Ontario can be done right here in one of our vans.
Yeah, and what's the country? What do you think?
So we work from Niagara past Hamilton, and then we do the entire GTA to Barrie, and we have Ottawa as well.
Oh, crazy. Okay. Premium, do the premium service as far as, let's say, comparing taking your car to a garage because you're coming to the individual?
You would think so, right?
Yeah.
But it's not. It's not that much of a premium. So we charge a $30 mobile fee for coming out, and other than that, that's it.
And then you're just leaving the keys. You don't even have to be, most people are home, let's be honest, these days, right?
Nowadays,
Because this past year, I'm assuming this has really kind of accelerated the business.
Yeah.
Because everybody is home, so they don't have to be leaving the house at all.
Exactly.
And that contactless
Everything's been contactless. You know, they leave their keys, we sanitize them, we don't really have to enter into the vehicles, and they just sit inside. And when we're all done, payments done online or over the phone.
Okay, so like do you have to respond? Like what's the best way to go about it?
Because of it being the busy season, there's an influx of traffic. Yes, there is. You have to
look at these segments are already working. Your phone's already ringing. There you go. Okay, so let's take a break. There's a new customer for you. What's the website?
It's GoWrenchAuto.com.
GoWrenchAuto.com. So check it out. We'll be hanging with Colton, and maybe we'll put the mic on Andy, and he can teach me a thing or two about changing tires, but also brake jobs. That's something that's you can look into right now, and we'll even crack the hood in a couple of these vehicles, see how things are coming with all the liquids and such, and I'll work on my mechanic terminology.
We'll teach you a thing or two.
Yeah, please do. Please do. My dad will be ashamed because he is a mechanic. Anyway, we'll come back with GoWrench on Morning Live. No snow in the forecast this week. I think we are A-okay to be changing those tires, swapping those tires from the winters into the summers or all seasons, and we're doing it pretty easy because, well, you don't have to do anything. Andy does all the work. Hey, Andy, how are you, pal?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
We're with GoWrench, a mobile mechanic service, and although they're doing pretty much anything within the car, right now, predominantly would be tires, right?
Absolutely.
Andy?
With the weather change, people are anxious to get their winter tires off and throw the summers on.
Okay, so you're a mechanic by trade. What's the difference between changing a tire in the driveway or doing it at a garage for you?
Not much, really, other than you have to use a lot more hand tools or hand jacks here instead of a hoist. Right. But aside from that, we're going through all the same processes, all the same checks to make sure everything's done properly.
Okay. What about torques? Like, it's like saying torque. Well, I don't know. You're seeing like, my dad's a mechanic, and he always said, like, I don't know, back in the day, you take the tire off and you tighten the tire up, and then you're good to go. Mm-hmm. But is every car different when it comes to how much torque it needs in the tire?
Absolutely. Every manufacturer, every vehicle has a specific torque setting that they recommend for their vehicles. Usually it's in the manual, but we'll check that for every vehicle to make sure that they're set correctly. Doing each wheel by hand to make sure it's done properly and there's no issues.
What does that mean when you're torquing the bolt that tight?
You're essentially clamping the wheels onto the rotor itself, making sure that it's properly secured to the car. So.
Because you're seeing all these stories about these tires falling off.
Absolutely.
Okay, why is that? Why are we seeing that?
I think it's a combination of reasons. I think you have a lot more people doing it themselves, particularly with everybody stuck at home. They're just thinking, you know what, I'll just do this myself. So that's one reason, and they don't necessarily know about the torque specs. The other reason is just a proliferation of settings with the manufacturers. They're changing them each year, changing them for different models.
So we're
more information out there.
So we're changing these tires. We got the other ones on the other side
Yep.
to do too. But you do always hear about checking the tires again now that they've been on for a certain number of kilometers.
Yes, so depending on where you go, it'll be between 10 and 100 kilometers after changing them. We recommend that you get the torque checked just to make sure that nothing has come loose, that nothing's sitting funny, and just to make sure that you're safe for the season.
It takes no time for you guys to pop by.
No, absolutely not. It's literally a 30-second visit to take out the torque wrench and just make sure everything is correctly set.
Okay. Want me to help you here?
Sure.
What do you need me to do?
All right, well, I'll lift the car off the ground here first for you.
Take that off the car. Okay, so GoWrenchAuto.com is the best way to book your spot if you want Andy or any other mechanics to come by.
Take those bolts off for me.
Okay, come by and take them off. We'll see how I do here. I don't know. Maybe you'll get me. Maybe you don't want me. Either one. But we'll also check out some other things. There's just not tire changes. It's a good time to be checking those brakes.
Absolutely.
We'll do that. And come back with GoWrench. Good morning live.
You're hired.
All right, good morning. Back with GoWrench, which is a mobile mechanic that comes right to your house and will take your tires off, but I'll do anything. And it's actually, you can actually watch Andy work. That's what we're doing. Standing around watching Andy do his thing back here with Colton. So obviously, tire changes is the big thing right now.
Right now, yes.
But besides that, once you got the tire off, there's a lot of other stuff to be checked right now. It's kind of like spring cleaning your house, right? Why not spring clean your car and check out what's going on in there? Like brakes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So when we're doing a tire change, it's the perfect opportunity to check the other major components of your suspension, your steering, so that we can find issues before they become worse and leave people stranded.
So how would you do that? So let's say, we're taking it off, we're looking at the brake pads. Brake pads in there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yay! One for Tim. I was listening, Dad. But if you take it off and say, okay, these need brakes. So what's the situation there? Do you have brakes on hand, or is this something that you kind of have to know ahead of time?
So no. So what we would do is if we find anything that needs attention or is urgent, we would let the customer know, give them a quote, and then we would book one of the mechanics to come out and do the service.
Could you do a brake job on the driveway?
It's one of the many things that we can do, yes. So the more common things are the brakes, suspension, starters, alternators, batteries. Those are a lot of the more common things that happen to the vehicles. And then we start getting into more extensive things, brake lines, electrical, etc.
Because when would you actually have to take it from the driveway and take it to a shop?
If it's got exhaust issues,
Right.
or there's internal transmission issues, press and bearings, those are things that can't normally be done on the road without special equipment. And those are things that we would actually valet the car or tow the car to one of our shops.
What about when you're working on a driveway? Are we getting in the way here, Andy, of you working? we're just on another break here. Oh, you got that one on. Oh, nice. Okay. Well, you can get this one on, I guess. Bossing Andy around. He loves me. About things falling on the driveway, right? I said liquids before. It's fluids.
He's been
Fluids,
corrected.
right? Been corrected. Yeah, like fluids falling on the driveway, so that has to be concerned for.
Exactly. So
homeowners.
we're extra cautious when it comes to doing things mobile. So whenever we're doing anything in terms of fluids, and even if we're doing any type of repair, we're laying down, whether it's cardboard or mats,
Right.
in order to catch any rust or anything that would have fallen off the vehicle. And when we're doing fluids, we're putting absorbent mats down that get disposed after. So this way, we're leaving the area the same way that we found it.
GoWrenchAuto.com is the best place to book a spot, right? I'm sure you're pretty busy right now with a lot of tire changes, but how many trucks do you have on the road right now?
So we have 7 trucks on the road right now.
7 trucks around. Okay. We got the hood open up over here, so let's take a break and maybe we'll take a look at some of the fluids and what needs to be assessed on this vehicle. We come back with GoWrench Auto on Morning Live. Got the hood open. Might as well check the fluids. Back here with GoWrench, which is a mobile mechanic service that comes to you. Who knew, right? Colton gets asked that all the time, that they didn't know that there was this type of service, but it's pretty convenient, especially these days, right?
Absolutely, especially now.
Okay. So while we're here, changing the tires, would this be a service you guys do too? Checking all the fluids, opening up the hood?
Yeah, so a lot of times we'll pair tire services with oil service or repairs, as well as checking the fluids, topping up.
How are you checking your own oil?
we're the worst for our own vehicles.
Yeah, right. Okay. What do you got hooked up to the battery here?
So this is a battery tester. So we want to be able to find batteries that are going to fail or getting weak. And this comes down to when people have a battery that will start perfectly fine in the warmer weather, but the moment it gets a little bit cold, that's when it starts to fail.
Are you guys working all year round?
All year round,
Right,
7 days a week.
So this is, it's a beautiful day today, so to be working outside.
Today is great.
But what's it like for your mechanics, like in the middle of winter, working out in somebody's driveway?
It's cold,
Yeah.
but we provide them with all the winter gear that they need. They'll have heaters. Some customers actually will let the vehicle be in the garage, so
that's
they can shut
obviously
it,
up to the
which
customer.
is a great, it's a
Right.
plus. But
Yeah.
they enjoy what they do. So as long as they're warm, they got their gloves, their toque, their heat pads.
Right.
They're fine.
Because where are you finding? Is it hard to find? Everybody says it's always hard to find a good mechanic. Where are you guys finding your mechanics?
It's word of mouth. Because we're in the industry, you find the guys that they work the mechanics as their job, but when they go home, they play with their own toys, right? And they race, and you find experienced mechanics like that constantly love learning.
Well, I wonder for a mechanic, like, would they want this? Because you're always changing your scene. You're not going to the same garage every day. Like, I don't know, like your garage is the trucks that you have, right? And you're kind of going around and doing different things.
Well, this is different. Like you're meeting with people, you're interacting with people, right? So it's a different setting than being in a shop.
Well, Andy was talking off camera too, as one of your mechanics is changing the tires here today. Well, you get to know your customers better because they're not coming and dropping off the car. You get to know their families because you're coming to their house.
Exactly, yeah. So a lot of times we'll go up there and it'll be like, hey, Julie, how's the kids? Hey, is Emily out of school yet? Oh, that's great. Oh, she just had her baby. And it's like, you build this rapport with them, and it's funny. It's amazing.
So we got the winter tires here that we've taken off. Do you guys store tires too?
Yes. So we have a heated security warehouse where we have well over 1,100 sets of tires that we'll actually keep safe for people.
What's the percentage of your customers that would be storing tires? Because people have garages, they could store them in the garage.
Yeah, it's 50-50.
Is it really? Okay.
Yeah, it's actually 50-50.
Okay. We had a bunch of other things that we were going to check, and then we just got talking. But you should be checking all the other coolants, all the other...
The coolant, the washer fluid will top up, the power steering, the brake fluid. We check the air filters as well, and then we'll make sure that the battery terminals aren't corroded.
We mentioned this in the first one, but for anybody that wasn't watching, as far as like comparable to taking your car to a garage, price-wise.
Well, it comes down to like we only charge a $30 mobile fee for coming out, but other than that, it's what people's time is worth, right? People are busy nowadays. If they have to change their routine to take their car into the shop, it puts a dent in things.
Where are you booking into now? Like you have open spots over the next little bit?
So because it's busy season, so we're booking a few weeks in advance now. So.
But the best way to do it is GoWrenchAuto.com and Hamilton area, to Niagara,
Toronto, Ottawa, Barrie.
all over the place.
All over the place.
It's a great idea. Okay. GoWrench, mobile mechanic on Morning Live.